Hæ, Guðrún Bergmann hér. Ég er mætt með skemmtilega viðmælanda. Hann talar ensku en hann býr á Íslandi og er að vinna mjög sérstaka svona heilunarvinnu sem ég ætla að fá hann til að útskýra fyrir okkur. En velkomin Steve Fernandez í viðtali, to an interview with me, I'm sorry. You understand a little Icelandic, don't you?
Not as much as I would like to.
But you understand the yes and no and...
Yes, a few things, yeah.
And are you familiar with our famous yeah, how, which means different things if you know, according to the different tones. But I'm going to
Yes.
give you we say give you the floor because you're going to tell us a little bit about who you are and how you ended up in Iceland.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so my name is Steve. I am originally from India. I was born in India and left home when I was 20 to travel the world and explore all the possibilities. I worked in hospitality. I started in the UK, became a British citizen, and worked with Four Seasons hotels for 15 years. But I felt I was drawn more towards doing my own thing, towards healing. I started off with running restaurants and then got into spas while being a therapist. But yes, I left the company, I left the corporate world to explore more, to learn yoga, to go to Thailand and learn massage and healing. I've been to Bali. And somewhere down the line, I started doing permaculture, which is growing food, because I felt you are what you eat and nutrition was so important. I wanted to know how food was grown. That got me to Scotland. And a lady from Iceland came to visit us in Scotland where we were teaching, and she invited me to come to Iceland to assist her to teach permaculture. So that is how I got to Iceland. And this is 4 years ago. 30th of August marked 4 years exactly.
Oh, really? Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
So your teaching journey has become a long one.
It's been a very long one. I was into permaculture and capturing a lot of videos and sharing information about permaculture. When I was in hotels, I was teaching about how to be in restaurants, then how to work in spas. So it's always been a part of me to share knowledge and to guide people and to just elevate them up to their highest self and take out the most potential from people. So that is, I believe everyone is the teacher. And we learn from everyone.
In a different way. And yes. You certainly have been a good one, as far as I know. And it was interesting because I got to go to a place where there was a greenhouse with you not so long ago. And you were already, you know, picking the herbs outside and this works. And, you know, so your eyes are still always on the plants as well.
Yes. Yes. It becomes a part of you. I feel it was kind of destiny. I wouldn't have come to Iceland without permaculture because this was not the plan. But it got me to the Westfjords in Ísafjörður. And then from Ísafjörður, I came down south in Legraus because there you had greenhouses and I could work from the winter preparing for the summer. And the agreement was to be able to grow food on the land where I was working, which is in Akur, where I learned a lot working with Totti and Carla, who worked with organic farming 30 years ago, I would think so.
Yeah.
And all the farmers around. And when we went this time together was so beautiful to reconnect and see the evolution and how things have changed, but some things remain. So there were so many lessons to learn, and it was nice to reconnect with the people over there in Legraus and in the farm and with the permaculture journey.
Yeah, I think it's interesting you talk about permaculture, and you were quite surprised when I told you that I had met Bill Mollison.
Yes.
Who was kind of the founder of permaculture when he came to Iceland, and you know, one of those coincidences that was not a coincidence, if we can call it so, because the person who was supposed to be his guide fell ill or something happened. And I don't know why, but our son had been an exchange, our older one had been an exchange student in Australia. And so we were asked to take over and be his guides. And of course, that brought us into permaculture back in the day, before even we moved out to Snæfellsnes, which was in 1995. So our ideas were always around this. And when I look at land and how people plant trees and everything, I think about the philosophy that he had about, you know, where you plant the trees and how you want to plant them, if you need shade for the house or shelter from the wind or something. And when you look at the most of the older farms in Iceland, when they were starting to plant trees, most people planted them in the shelter, like right next to the wall of the house. So
Yes.
because that's where they would grow. And then of course they've grown over all the windows and everything. So
Wow.
I think positioning plants is a really, or trees in particular, is a really delicate balance, because you don't want, you know, in Iceland, we put so much emphasis on the view, and you
Yes.
don't want to, you know, blind the view with trees. Yeah. So, but permaculture brought you to Iceland, and but you stayed on. So
Yes, so I was asked to stay longer in Ísafjörður to begin with because I was valuable and I was helpful and I really enjoyed the place. I love Iceland for the cold and the dark and all the reasons people don't normally like Iceland. So I feel very much at home in Iceland. But working in greenhouses can be very warm, especially in the summer. So it was difficult for me to work in greenhouses. So I switched back from working with permaculture back to massage. By this point, I'd done almost 10 years of work with massage. So getting back in was quite easy. When I got back into massage, you get into the cities and you're part of normal life, not always on a farm. And that's when I saw everybody in swimming pools. And that was the main hangout. That was the cultural aspect of Iceland, where everyone felt so much at home and warm water everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. Sundlaug, that's the magic word in Iceland.
Yes.
And
So this kind of sparked a vision or an idea of a vatsu, which is water shiatsu. And this was, again, 30 years ago, in that age where all these amazing things were happening. Water shiatsu was developed in the US by a gentleman called Harold Dull, where he was doing shiatsu and started taking his clients into the water. And he noticed these amazing benefits that were coming out of just having someone in the water. So this was warm water. Around 34 degrees is always ideal. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's a little bit lower. But the joints relaxed, the mind relaxed, people go into a completely different state. So this is where I thought of doing Vatsu.
Yeah.
But this was also during the time of COVID, so I could not travel anywhere. No one could come to Iceland, and I was searching for things around Iceland, and I came across float, which is a derivative of Vatsu,
Yeah.
but using the floats. Almost everyone in Iceland knows of Floteta.
Yeah.
The one who created it, and they're beautiful people, and they were my first teachers, and that is how I started my journey, which is working in the water, which is healing in the water. So that's how I got into begin my journey with water, and that was a blessing. I then started working with Blue Lagoon, where I was doing float therapy and working with Floteta. But with float, it caters to smaller groups. So one therapist works with more than one client. It's not a one-on-one. And for me, I was really more interested in the one-on-one where I could stay completely focused without breaking that attention or without breaking the connection that I established over a period of time. So I went back to looking for Vatsu, and I got a trainer in to come to Iceland. So then,
oh, interesting. Yeah.
yeah. So it was difficult at this time because nowhere outside of Iceland were they ready to open courses, and COVID was still a little bit, nobody knew what was happening. Flights were a little bit iffy. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to bring a trainer here. If I can't go outside, I'm bringing a trainer to Iceland. I gathered a few people who were interested and knew about Vatsu. And yeah, then we started. I ran 4 courses of Vatsu. And later there was Unur, who also brought another trainer in. So Vatsu was kind of growing. And it was amazing. It was so nice to work with people, and people could feel this amazing power and freedom and a difference compared to working on a table. So if you've not tried float, or if you've not tried Vatsu, you can just imagine being held close to someone in warm water, and your body is completely free to move around. You have floats on your legs, which keeps you secure. You're just under the surface of the water, so you stay warm. And even if you are not very flexible, if you have if you're a little bit on the heavier side and it's difficult for you to move, or for your therapist to move you on a table, in the water everyone is light.
Yes.
And it's the analogy that I like to look at is, if you take a towel and you roll it and you put it on the table, it will kind of unwind a little bit and open up. But when you take that same roll and put it in the water just allows it to completely unfold and unravel and just blend in with the flow of the water. And because we are such a high percentage, we're water beings, the planet is a water being, plants, we all contain a lot of water. Once you are put in water, you kind of almost become one, and you start connecting with it.
When
So,
you
yeah.
feel water is friendly, you know, because
Yeah.
I had a swim teacher when I was a kid, and I think, you know, I had anxiety issues as a child because of a thing that happened in my childhood. But water was like, I felt so insecure in it. So for me, that was a big issue to, you know, just to be in water. And I didn't like the chlorine. It kind of, you know, I smelled so heavily of chlorine after every swim, especially if it was in Sundhöllin. And so I kind of shut out swimming altogether. So for me, you know, having a treatment like you're offering helped me come to terms with water again and feel safe in water.
Yes. Yes.
Which is
So
was such a breakthrough for me. It was just like, yes, it's okay. Yes, I am okay in the water. So that was, and I felt safe, and that was a very, very big issue for me. And I think that's, I'm sure there are more people here in Iceland who are afraid of the water and kind of just go to the swimming pool to go to the heitupotter, you know.
yes.
Yeah. So what exactly, like, you know, when you do one-on-one, can you explain to people how you do it?
Yes. So after Vatsu, I started doing water dance, where we take the person not only on the surface, but we also introduce them underwater. So part of what we do is helping people to face or to explore their relationship with water. You have people of a different spectrum, some who absolutely love water, who are like mermaids, and some who would not want to go close to water because of a number of reasons. So what we do is, especially in the fundamental course that I teach, is we also include an aspect of guiding people with taking them into water in a slow progression. We do this through games, we do this through interactions, distracting them with other kind of aspects to look at. Look at how the water is, look at fabrics in the water, waves, wear glasses, get them very comfortable. Once you get comfortable with the water, there's a complete shift from fearing the water to actually being playful in the water. As kids, some of us, you know, enjoy splashing around, but then as time progresses, as we have certain experiences, we change this relationship. We were conceived in a medium of water. We were born in a medium of water. That's how we started our life. and slowly we change and life tries us out in a way. So being able to reconnect with the water really touches you in different ways. So that is what we do. Once a person is comfortable, then you can see them unfolding like that towel. You can see them
Yeah.
moving around.
Yeah.
But it takes time and you
Yeah.
have to be patient. And when we work, we didn't do as many techniques or didn't do much. First step is just loving the water, connecting the water and feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
Once that is established, then you start moving forward. This is the difference, I would say, with other therapies in the water, because they don't always address the fear aspect, or they don't address how can you make someone love the water. Then you do certain movements, but the person will stay rigid and fearful, but it's not always the most enjoyable experience. They will relax to some degree. Yes.
That is very interesting. That it was very much stages, and we were. I thought, okay, here I am going to meet this man that I've never seen before in the children's pool in Laugardalslaug. And I had not been there in years when this happened. And so I was kind of like preparing my mind not to anticipate anything in particular, but just to be relaxed and in the moment and just take things step by step. And that's exactly what happened. And in the kids' pool or children's pool, it's the water is not too deep. It's warm. We had a sunny day, of course. That was really beautiful. But it was just this new aspect of entering the water in a different way. And I know I need more sessions with you, but that it is the beginning of enjoying the water. And one of the reasons why I decided to come and have a session with you was because water is so important now. It's so important in terms of our spirituality. It's important because of all the light that is coming to Earth. And we need a conductor, and the water is a conductor. And it's interesting, yeah. And it's interesting also, I was listening to a channeling the other day, and they were talking about that the Atlantis, you know, because we talk about Atlantis, a sunken city or a sunken world or something. And what came through was that Atlantis was a frequency, and the Lemurians were as much in water as they were above water. So they could kind of shift or change or something.
Almost, yes.
Yeah. So, and I believe we're going into something similar. So water is going to be very important, and it's going to be very important to drink a lot of water.
Yes.
But with salt. Yeah.
Yeah, drinking good water. We're so blessed in Iceland. Every time I leave, I can't wait to just come back all the time.
So you love the water as much as I do. I love the hot and the cold water.
Yes, I love cold water, yes.
Yeah.
And water is life. Water is what gives life to everything. And you can see that even with permaculture also. You know, it's such an important aspect. That's a big part of it. And you know, from place to place, things would evolve and change, but water is so important. And like you said, it's very conductive.
Yeah.
And the you can use it in so many ways. Now, in the last 3 years, I've had an opportunity to experience different learnings. So what I teach is one thing, but then you can also use what you already do. There's craniosacral therapy in water. People do massage in the water. People do all sorts of healing in the water. All you need to do is just have the person in water floating, and you can do all your healings. You can hold them, you can access, because then you have 360-degree access. You can go to any part of the person's body. All you need to do is learn how to be secure in yourself in the water, how to make sure that the person is also comfortable and secure in the water, and then let the magic flow. Water is the healer, water is the magic. Everything happens through that. Our job is just to be the channel, just to be the facilitator and holding space.
Yeah.
But it happens once the person feels comfortable.
Yes.
They feel comfortable once you know how to hold them, how to keep them comfortable, how to move them, how to bring them up, how to take them down. It may seem simple, but there's a little, it's the same thing. If you are working with someone and you're healing them, just putting a sheet on top of them or a blanket on top of them, there's a way of doing it. You want to keep that flow. You want to keep that energy, that vibration of love. It changes. Yeah.
Vibration of love changes everything. It most certainly does. But since this is a one-on-one practice, especially
Yes.
when you do the water dance and the teaching people. So how are you dealing with you alone cannot do everything? So are you teaching other people here in Iceland this technique?
Yes, we've done a couple of courses already, and there's one which is coming on the 9th to the 14th of November. That will be in Iceland, in Altanes. It's 6 days. Half of it we learn techniques in the water, and half we spend on land. We also teach people how to connect with themselves, to be comfortable, grounded with themselves, to understand the quality of touch, to understand energy, to connect with the inner child. So there's a lot of psychology that goes into it with land practices, and we bring it to the water, and from the water we bring it to the land. So it's a very holistic approach to dealing with how do you take care of a person holistically and holding space, because things will come up in water naturally.
Yeah. I would think emotions would come up because water is such a conductor also for emotions.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
In the medicine wheel, it's all about emotions, beginnings.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to start.
Yeah. So you say from the 9th till the 14th of November?
Yes, there'll be 9 to the 14th. There will be a fundamental course. I will have a level 2 trainer, Louisiane, who does amazing work with, again, with different aspects of water, with sound. She works with women's circles. She works with people suffering from cancer, who've recovered, people with fear. So she's very experienced, and I really look up to her. So she will be coming. She will come on the 5th and leave on the 18th. So there will be a few days before and after.
Yeah. So now I'm writing down dates.
Yes, no, I will send it to you.
Okay.
I will send it to you, and we're going to plan some kind of events, maybe little workshops where people can come and understand how it is and feel how it feels like to be in the water and to interact with others. But there are a number of courses. And just in this year, I'll be going on the 10th of next month to Sardinia, and we'll be teaching the same thing in Sardinia. And then end of November, I'll be teaching in the south of India. And then there will be progressive levels, because I would love to have a community of therapists who can do this work, because there's so much water in Iceland. There's so many lagoons, there's so many pools. I see this as being the future. And I definitely see this being a need for most people, because we're so bombarded with social media and our minds are so active and everything is pulling at your attention. But as soon as you go in the water, your eyes are closed, your ears are in there, and your breathing is regulated, you just completely shift. Your mind starts going into a different frequency. That is what we need.
I think it's also maybe high time that we stop selling the water in Iceland to foreigners as a place to hit the bar, because that's what many of these, especially like the Blue Lagoon and Sky Lagoon and everything, there's a bar. The bar's the main theme. Of course, healing in the water should be the main theme.
Yes. I'm actively looking for people or establishments that are interested in this aspect, because we don't have anyone really tapping into the potential of this. and you don't need much. You just need to have a little bit of space. And as soon as people understand that this is available, they will flock. I work at Edition Hotel in Reykjavik, and whoever I speak to, they're just waiting for it. People have a lot of stress and anxiety and a lot of tension on their bodies because of the lives they live.
Yeah.
They earn a lot of money, but they don't know how to invest in themselves, where they invest in things that they think might help them, but they're just doing it without knowing that this is an option.
Yes.
So once presented, once I speak to them, they just want to try it. But I'm looking for a place where this can be actually offered to people exclusively to some degree, not having to go and book public pools all the time. So the first step would be to build a community, to build a therapist, to make a strong community from Iceland. There are a lot of people outside of Iceland, but Iceland needs its own people.
Yes.
Then it would be to bring them into the pools, into the water, and then everything will come together.
Do you see the spa places as a perfect location for this treatment rather than the pools?
You can do it in pools also.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. And very often I can be in a crowded pool with a lot of kids, and the person receiving the session does not know what is happening. I've done sessions where I always have a conversation first, and there was a class that was happening with some old people with moving, and the one time I had this client, he started playing Beatles tracks, and all the messages were just what she needed to hear. So it is nice. It is nice. It was, it was beautiful. And the second time I had a session with her was in a different time, and the same guy came and he played the Beatles again.
Wow.
And I've been to that pool many times. Those were the only 2 times he played it, just for that girl.
Wow, incredible. Yeah.
So it can be done in pools, but I feel if you go to a spa or a place that is slightly exclusive for these therapies, without too much chatter, without too much noise, because water absorbs energy also.
Yeah.
So if you can create this space, it's going to be very potent and very powerful, because when we do courses, there's my teachers and the assistants who actually work with water. They have special numbers and symbols and keep the water and then just add it to the 4 corners of the pool. So there's a lot of magic.
Yeah. There's an intention and there's an energy for it. Yeah.
Yes.
But I remember when we were when I was working with you, we were in Laugardalslaug, and the group of people who always come there for exercises in the morning, they were all singing, and it was subdued because my ears were under the water level, but I could still hear it.
Yes.
And it was kind of an inspiration because there was happiness in the song.
What a joy.
Yeah, and that's very important. Do you have a website where you feature your work?
Yes, it is watertherapy.is.
Yes.
So for Iceland.
Yeah.
I also have Water Therapy Iceland as Facebook.
Yeah.
And
so
watertherapy.is.
Yeah.
Yes, and watertherapy.is for Instagram also.
Okay, that's great. So if people would want to come and have a session with you, they could get in touch with you through the website, and they could also see information about the upcoming courses and what's going to be available. I think this November course sounds extremely exciting.
It will be. We're going to have 8 people, and it'll be in Vatnsmeðferð. And with my trainer, we'll be going some places really special in the water.
Yeah. So I think that's where I'll be, in the water.
Wow.
Because I think it's the next step for me. That's and I'm I'm just thinking, like, I need to buy a new swimsuit before this happens.
Wow.
But it's it's going to be cold outside though. But
it's so in Vatnsmeðferð? It is indoors.
Oh, really?
It is. I love this pool. I conducted all the Vatsu courses there.
Yeah.
And the first water dance fundamental that we did was also in that pool.
I
So
see.
it's indoors. It's not too deep. It's also like a kid's pool, but slightly deeper compared to Lægardalslaug.
Yeah.
But it's indoors and it's comfortable. There's no air, no kind of strong wind or rain. It's just lovely, and it's all glass on
Wow.
one side so you can see outside, and
Yeah.
glass on the other side so you can see what's happening in reception. So, oh my gosh, I love the pools in Iceland. They're fantastic.
They are fantastic. And it's on everyone's list who has children to bring them to the pools when they come to Iceland. But, you know, and so like my grandchildren, you know, two of them live in the States. And when they come to Iceland, it's like, oh, I want to go swimming every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So there's always this, you know, wherever we go, there has to be a pool so that they can go swimming, because that's such an important part. So I think this is a wonderful input, and it's something really extra that is going to be beneficial for us in the future. And I hope that that, you know, those who are building new spas, or I could say, you know, pool areas, that they keep in mind that this is also something that can be done in the water.
Yes, and there are a lot of existing pools. So I've not really been active on seeking out these pools. I will start a campaign to find people who are actually interested in using or optimizing the pools that they already have.
Yeah.
Because you're already keeping it warm and maintaining it, so might as well use it in a nice way, knowing that the energy of the water is going to be just enhanced and kept beautiful, you know. So looking for people to collaborate, people who are interested in growing together, and I think it's just everything growing together in a very positive way. I use a permaculture mindset for everything. Even with this, there needs to be multiple reasons and multiple ways that things can connect.
Yeah.
And help. It needs to be a win-win everywhere.
Well, permaculture is all about win-win for nature and for people and the plants and the animals in it. So that's a wonderful way in which to think about it. So I will get all the information about your website and how to connect with you. We'll put it underneath the video, and I trust that people in general in Iceland will take a look at a new way in which to use the water.
Amazing.
So thank you for being my guest today, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katrin. Thank you.